So baby's doing good. You guys getting sleep and all that stuff? Because I know I got three, so I know it's
Well, I guess the baby's definitely letting us sleep, but
good.
myself, I work start my work day about 7. I work from like 7 a.m. to about 3 a.m. And I sleep about 4 hours a night because there's so much stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
4 hours in a day, so I work like 19 of them.
It's one of the things I actually love about you, man. From day one of meeting you, I say this to everybody too. Nobody hustles harder than Jimmie Allen. That's not meant to be a knock on anybody else because everybody to make it in this industry, you do have to hustle, but your work ethic is unmatched. And I wonder, you've had hits on the radio, man. Like you're successful. You've made it, as they say. What keeps you going to continue to work that hard? Like you're still looking for a gig when you've got plenty.
Um, One, I think I love it. The gift and the curse is, when you struggle for something for 13 years, once you get it, you've hustled and grinded for so long. One, you don't know how to shut it off.
Sure.
Ever satisfied, like ever. There's always room to improve. There's always more things I want to achieve. There's so many different things I want to do. Whether it's getting the newest song up the chart, whether it's finishing an album. I have a publishing company now, so I signed a writer. On the producer side, I just signed this country girl. I signed this pop R&B guy. I'm working on 2 TV shows right now, a movie. I got a radio show on Apple Music. I wrote a kids book. I have companies back in Delaware, like a septic company, a transportation company, and a construction company. Uh, I There's so many things I want to do because I'm like, the more I can create, the more jobs I can provide for other people. So the more companies I have and I can expand, I look at, like, we all have a job right now because somebody got the idea. Hey, I wanted to create that. I wanted to create radio. Then I want to create this thing in radio. So without that idea, we wouldn't have a job. So I'm like, well, that's ways I can help, other people. And then, like, I am a huge Kevin Hart fan, and to me, nobody hustles harder than Kevin Hart. Nobody. So I'm like, if I can match his energy, at least half of it, let's do it. Because I remember Lexi, my fiance, was like, "You're insane." Because, like, I get by like 7, and hang out, get Aiden ready for school. Lay in the bed with her and the baby for a while, talk. We'll watch Tim Tracker, that Disney vlogger, in the morning.
I love it.
I'll typically have some Zoom meetings, write a little bit. I'm starting on my second book right now. Um, if I get an hour, I'll run to the bowling alley, bowl for an hour. Then I head to a right, head to a meeting, take a lunch, head to another meeting, finish some script ideas for this movie. Uh, then I take another break by like 7, about 7 to 8. And then I get to the studio where I'm working with these pop artists and hip hop artists. I'm writing songs for them. I'm there from like 9 to like 2, 3 in the morning. Go home, sleep, get up, do it again.
I love it, man. That hustle, man. It's inspiring. You know what? It is. It's motivational for other people like myself to see something like that. And you're like, all right, just the second you want to slow down for a minute, you go, no, you can't. If you love what you do, you got to keep going. You got to keep hustling. I want to talk about the album. And of course, Freedom Was a Highway, which we'll play. It's the new song with you and Brad Paisley. And of course, Betty James, which is the all collabs album. And I love that. I want to know where that idea came from. And then I also want to know, looking at some of the people on there, you got Charlie Pride, you got Tim McGraw, you got Noah Cyrus, obviously Brad Paisley. Were you turned down by anybody, or was everybody like, Jimmy, let's go?
I say, yeah, that's the crazy thing about it, man. I always knew. I see. I'm not a fan of album cycles. Where you put out 12, 13 songs and you wait a year and a half and then put out music again. I like that.
Yeah.
So, like, nobody, music listeners don't want that. They want music now because guess what? If you're not giving it to them, they're gonna go to somebody that is giving it to them. Like, the
Yeah.
time we need to change with it, or we're gonna get left behind, and that's just facts. And you can see it in artists that consistently put out music versus artists that are still on that old school album cycle. Like, it's done, it's dated, let it go. Now, if that's what you want to do it. But I feel like if you're a new artist and want to stay current, you got to keep pumping music out. Easy. You at least need to put out 5 songs a year at minimum. You know what I mean? So I knew if I did do an album in between it, I wanted to do different conceptual like some shorter albums. So we had Mercury Lane. I knew after that I wanted to do a collaboration album. So I reached out to some of my favorites, people I got a chance to meet. Um, and I went and I named it after my dad. He died in 2019 and my grandma died in 2013. And no, she died in 2014, a couple months before my son was born. I Then I was like, all right, cool. After that, we're gonna work on Tulip Drive. So Mercury Lane is the street I grew up on. Tulip Drive was the street my grandma lived on. Um, then after we get through that, I want to. And my process of wanting to release that is not an album. It's 4 songs every 3 months, right? That's so what because I'm like people aren't as excited month 6 of a release as they are month 1. So I'm like, how
Right.
do you keep the excitement of the entire album? You release the album in pieces. And then once you get all the 13, 4, and it gives you a chance to throw 20 songs in there, or even 30 songs, but people have time to digest it. You know what I mean? And then you put them all together, put it out, album, done. Then after that, I want to do, there's this beach album I want to do where every song is kind of like a Jake Owen meets Kenny Chesney meets Jimmy Buffett type record, meets a little Bob Marley. I want to do this 5 song beach record. Then after that, I'm gonna go to the street. I'm name the album my street my mom grew up on. Then we're gonna release that 4 songs at a time. That way, you're constantly putting out content, and at the same time, a lot of digital people they'll do one artist push a year, and I'm like, great, save that push when we put all the songs together. But every 4 months, that's a new way for your label marketing team and my publicist to be in the media, be on radio every 4 months. Jimmy has a new release because it's a new release, even though it's the same album. So we got a new release. So that's how you always find a way to stay in front of people, positively. I don't want to be the guy that's out here, getting arrested and stuff, being crazy. But it's just not. I don't do that. But it's a way to stay in front of people positively and just stay in the front of people's brand. And then at the same time, it's like if I'm doing that, at the same time I got a kids book and touring and 2 TV shows and a movie, everything can kind of all work together to where on my TV show I'm promoting new songs. And I can also use that platform to launch new artists that don't have a deal. And I can promote my book. Then when I tour in that morning, I'm gonna do a book signing at a specific location on purpose, do some sort of brand partnership with them. Then if you book, there's a chance there could be meet and greet tickets and show tickets in the book. So it's kind of like working everything together.
You know what we call this? This is a master class right now on how to make it. Like that's the next thing. You need to charge people for the master class on how to market yourself and get out there, bro.
Country artists all the time. I said, you want to know how to grind and expand and hustle? I said, study hip hop artists. They have mastered it. Like they like people forget Lil Wayne signed Drake and Nicki Minaj. So all the money,
Right.
Lil Wayne get a piece of it. And The Weeknd signed to Drake. Pretty much signed to Lil Wayne too. It's an up channel thing. Like, how do you do that? That's how you do it. That's how you expand. Like once the artist I'm about to sign, that's what I'm taking on tour.
Right.
Because I'm like, why not introduce her to my listeners, and then so on and so on. It's how you kind of grow this thing. You know what I mean? Like, so I tell people, I'm a country artist with a hip hop mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. And Toby Keith did that too when he signed Taylor Swift, obviously. Still making money off of that stuff. That's crazy. I want to talk about this post with Ash Bowers because you did this, I want to say a couple days ago, and you were talking about how y'all met in a grocery store. Can you tell me about, for people that don't know, that relationship and why it's so important to you in that post specifically as well?
Man, so me and Ash met. I was playing around, and he was actually playing it too. Because Ash, before he became my manager, he actually had time to write songs. Imprint I'm on at Broken Bow. I'm on Stony Creek. Ash was actually the first artist on Stony Creek. Um, then he got into songwriting. He wrote "Boy Gets a Truck." He's actually on my new song. We wrote "Freedom's a Highway" with our buddy Matt Rogers. Me, Ash, and Matt wrote it like 2.5 years ago, when he had time to write.
Right.
Yeah, man. He After being here for 10 years, man, getting told no just by everybody. Ash pretty much wanted to sign me the day he met me at Puckett's grocery store. So Puckett's grocery store, for people that don't know, it's a music venue, a grocery store, and a restaurant, all in one. Like
Right.
small town redneck living. That is what it is right there. Uh, And I remember that day I called out of both my jobs because I was like, my dad had this thing, always make yourself available. So I said, well, at least I get to play some songs, I get $200 and I get a free meal. So I'm playing some songs. I had a few songs already that was on my first album already written, like Back in Your Mind. I played that. So afterwards, I met Ash, and he was like, "Dude, like, so what do you got going on?" I was like, "Nothing." He was like, "Who you signed to?" I said, "Nobody. Hopefully somebody." He said, "Well, man, I want to take you around town and introduce you to people." I was like, "Well, what do you got going on?" got a I got a little publishing company, and everybody in town said, "You need to get with this big company or this big company." No, people listening, you need to get with whoever the hell believes in you. That's who you need to get with. Don't get wrapped up in the names. Don't get wrapped in what different companies or different labels did for other people. No, you got to find out who's going to do that same thing for you. So I felt that with Ash. I felt like he was wanting me to be me and just find ways to make who I am and what I want to do better. Um, so he signed me literally, I think like 3 weeks after that. And he's been in my corner, like fighting, making phone calls, and like everybody, we don't always see eye to eye, but we're both alpha males and we're both very blunt. We don't hold nothing back. We
Right.
say how you feel. Cause I'm like, if both sides say how they feel, boom, you got room to work. But I tell people this all the time. If you and whoever you work with or your spouses, you agree on everything, somebody lying.
Right. Right. It's not real, right?
Real, man. And what's what I love about Ash, he's real, man. Like he's real. Like when I tell you he believes in me and he respects me as a man and vice versa. And that's what it's about. We treat each other like men. We're both grown men with families. And at the end of the day, we both want to be successful. So we're very passionate about it. And people confuse passion with anger. There's a different thing. Like when you see artists getting upset and yelling and arguing, it's because they're passionate. Like this is
Yeah.
their, you know what I mean? A lot of times, you know, record labels or publishing companies or publicists don't understand it because if it don't work out for that one artist, guess what? They can go sign another artist. That artist, that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is it. We are literally fighting for our life, for our career and our livelihood. Every album, every single, every show. I mean, like, so that's why everything is so intense with so many artists. And then artists get the rep, oh, they're tool bag or no, they're just passionate. We
Yep.
care. You know what I mean? It's like we're defending how we provide for our family with every decision we make.
Sure.
You know, so but yeah, and that's what Ash is so important to me, man, because Ash defends that with me. You know what I mean? He wants to hold the integrity of who I am and what my message is and what my image is, um, with me. He don't. He knew from day one I was going to get into music and then TV and then theater and write books. He's like, do it, and he
Yep.
knew from day one I dress crazy. Like you can best believe. Other than the scene was the first time I said I was going to dress normal because I didn't want to wear nothing that would take attention away from Mr. Pride.
Sure. Absolutely. Let's stay on that for a second with the fashion because you do have a look. I think it looks great. It's a fantastic fashion sense. What is your favorite item that you own? One and two, as you're putting together an outfit, something that you want to express yourself in. What do you start with? Is it a shirt? You start with shoes? Do you start with the hat, an accessory? Like what is it?
And it kind of just depends on the mood. Like sometimes if I see a cool jacket, I'll start with the jacket. Like for instance, the New Year's Rockin' Eve show I did in Times Square. I had this blue jacket, and I just started sketching on the paper what I wanted on it. So I called this lady. Um, Shout out to Styles by Elise. She put like the wings and stuff on there for me.
Yeah.
Uh, so the wings represented my dad and my grandma had those. And then I had, if you notice, I had like the stones on the jacket. Each stone represented someone in my life that has helped me get where I am in my music career. Uh, then I had the belt, the little she put the little rhinestone belt around the side of it. I had the cheetah pants because I love cheetah, man.
I dig it.
Love cheetahs, but what I love about cheetahs is they're fast, but they're also effective. And that's how I feel like you got to be in this music business. You got to be fast. You got to move quick, but you also got to be effective. And cheetahs are quick and effective. They're not sloppy. So that's kind of what I aim for, daily. Um, then I went to blue boots. Honestly, blue boots. I couldn't find no blue boots. So I just grabbed a pair of old boots and spray painted them joints.
That's great.
Real close. You can see at the bottom, they're like dripping down a little bit. Yeah.
Hilarious. I want to talk about, you give a lot of advice on, obviously, again, you've made it in the business, and you give a lot of advice to younger artists on, what they got to do. I wonder if through your experience, your struggle making it to where you are now, if there's something you learned not to do.
Yeah. If other people's vision of who you are don't fit with yours, they ain't for you. That's simple. I don't care if they're the president of the biggest label in the world. I don't care if they got $1 million. Like my old band, I turned down a deal from a record label in LA that was going to give me a $1.5 million advance.
Wow.
Because their vision didn't fit mine. Because it was bigger about the money. It's bigger than the money. It's about being happy doing what I love. It's like going to sleep every night knowing I'm proud of the decisions I made today. I tell artists all the time, if there's a genre of music you want to do, move right now to where that genre of music is. And so many people make excuses. Well, I don't have a job. Walmart's always hiring. So is Starbucks. So is McDonald's. Move. If you don't move, you don't want it. Like nobody's going to come to your little town in Ohio or Delaware or Mississippi or wherever you are looking for you. It ain't going to happen. It's just not. Now you can make a great living touring. Like I know a few artists that just tour around the country for a living. They built up that grassroots market. You won't hear them on the radio, but they play like shows, cover shows, and they're making a living. And that's success. And people got to realize success is based on the individual. So to some people, success might be a #1 on country radio. To some people, success might be just being a cover band, touring for 20 years doing that. Nothing wrong with that either. But you got to first realize what your end goal is. And then align yourself with people that believe in that end goal. If you want a record label, if you want to do country, move to Nashville. You want to do pop or hip hop, go to LA. And don't make no excuses, because each day you wait, guess what? There's another artist that then came in hungrier than you, willing to bet it all, and your spot. And it's like, you don't get offended when people don't respond to your emails. Like there's people I work with now that declined, that didn't respond to like 20 emails from me. It's fine. It's a business. But people also, they have a job to protect too. So they can't just go around signing everybody that's interested.
Right.
Yay. They want to see if you're going to be interested over a long period of time. And that's just what you got to do. You have to speak up for what you want. Don't be, I tell people all the time, well, I had this one artist. Well, I went to a meeting and the label told me I had to do this. I was like, did you do it? They said, yeah. I said, why? Because I wanted a record deal. I said, now you're doing something you don't want to do. She was like, well, I just wanted a record deal. I said, well, what if they didn't sign me? So then you'd be in the same position you are now until it's time for you to find the right place for you. And that's what you got to do. You have to fight for every inch that you want in this business. You have to fight to preserve yourself, fight to preserve your craft. There's this guy, one of my buddies, Randy Houser. A lot of people, didn't understand why he did this last album he did. Well, there's no radio singles. Who cares? It's about him doing what he loves.
Yeah.
That's what people have to realize. It's about the artist doing what the artist loves. Because if the artist does what the artist loves, they're going to find the right people. And there's no generic system. A lot of times, people want to check off boxes. We did this. We did this. No, each artist has a unique plan, and you have to cater each plan to each artist, just like you do a football team for the quarterback. You cater the team to fit the skills of the quarterback. The artist is the quarterback. Now you have to put the right people around there and the right plans around that to make that artist successful in whichever way it wants to go. And that's just something I've learned over time after seeing so many different artists fail that I thought were great. And I'm like, what happened here? You know what I mean? And also people have to be on the same page of what's failing. Just because you don't get a #1 record, that's not failing.
Yeah.
This Is Us only went to 40 on the chart, but it has over 60 million streams.
Right.
It found the people it's supposed to find. It got me so many TV appearances last year. So that's the thing. You have to look at each song as its own entity. You know what I mean? Each album as its own entity. Every day as its own entity, and realize, okay, yeah, Best Shot did this. Cool. Make Me Want To did this, but Make Me Want To didn't get me all the TV opportunities that This Is Us did. And Make Me Want To was number one. This Is Us was only the top 40. You know what I mean? So it's like realizing what success is, setting a standard for that and working towards it, and just appreciating the success that comes from each moment.
I love it. More great advice. I want to talk about some of these tweets, which, by the way, if you haven't followed Jimmie, you got to follow him. You're really active. You're very raw and real, and I love that about you. And some of the things are like bowling is my new thing, is one of the tweets you sent out. When did that become your new thing? How did you discover it was your new thing? And how good are you too?
Man, I started bowling with baseball player Mookie Betts and my boy Cortland Finnegan, my boy Evan Mathis that used to play with the Eagles, Fly Eagles Fly. Uh, and we just started going about 2 months ago. And I got hooked. Like, I was like, we ain't nothing else to do. We weren't boring or nothing. So I was like, let's go. So my average at first was like a 105. So I went
Right.
out, bowling balls, shoes. I got so into it, I got a flight case for my bowling ball.
I love it.
Custom shoes. I got Steph Curry's that Cortland made in the bowling shoes for me. Uh, and now, like yesterday, I'm in 3 leagues. I'm in the league right now. Me, Chuck Wicks, and Mitchell Tenpenny. We're in the league together on Sunday nights. So I play in the league on Tuesday nights with my band. I play in it's a Rainbow League. It's called the Rainbow League.
Love
Uh,
it.
My tour manager was mad. I didn't let him be in the league. I'm in a league on Sunday afternoon at 4. That's the one with like Mookie Betts and all those guys. And I'm in a league Sunday at 7. So my average month and a half ago was 105. Then my average jumped to 140 in about 2 weeks.
Good for you, man.
Obsessive. Like I was going to the bowling alley literally 4 days a week for 5 hours at a time, just working on it and working on it. And now my average is 172. Yesterday I bowled my highest. I bowled a 218 last night.
Good for you. You know what it is, though? It speaks to your character, and you don't half-ass anything. And that's kind of a great way to go about life. Anything you're going to do, you should do 150%. And you do that all the time. What's that?
Guys are crazy. And I told her, I was like, look, I said, let's look at it like this. I said, I know I work a lot, but when we vacation, we vacation.
Yeah.
And I'm a more of a logical guy. There's no black and white. There's no gray area with me. It's either black or white. There's either you do or you don't. So I was like, look, I know I work a lot while I'm here, but just know every other month we're going to have 8 days straight off, you know,
Right.
where, and I was like, in the last 2.5 years, I think we've had a total of maybe 95 vacation days.
Wow.
That's more than most people have. So I said, let's look at the days that we've actually had together, not the 9, because I don't work a 9 to 5 to where I work Monday through Friday and I'm off the weekends.
Right.
I work those too. Nothing's off limits. But then once I take my time to have off, I'm off. Don't call me, don't bug me, don't ask me for nothing. Ain't gonna do it. When I get back, we'll get to it then. And that's kind of how I've just moved with my life. It works for me, you know.
I love it, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's go to here's another tweet. It has been a dream of mine since I was a kid to be a member of the Opry. If that ever happens, wow, that would be amazing. Have you ever thought about who you want to induct you?
Well, he's dead now, but Charlie probably would have been cool.
Right. Absolutely.
Charlie, Darius, Brad would be dope.
I love it.
Who else? Man, there's so many, man. You know, Eddie from Montgomery Gentry would be cool. Um, you know, Flats.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones out there, man.
Girls I remember. He has to be.
Yeah.
He has to be.
Has to be. I think he is. Yeah. Some nights my brain just won't shut off with a little shrugging man emoji. What kind of things do you're lying there in bed, you know you should be asleep, the brain's turning. What kind of things are keeping you up?
How do I get better? You know, as a writer, producer, a father. I don't know. I get obsessive with things. Like I'll look around like, dang it, I could have done that better. Or I could have done that better. All right. Or do I think about a song? Or then I'll think of like different book ideas, movie ideas. it's like everything just runs through my brain. Like a new fashion thing I'm working on. I'm trying to um, I have a few connections to. I start talking to a few shoe companies like Nike and Under Armour. Trying to get my own shoe. So I started sketching that out, and that's what I do with my all my suits I've ever wore on an award show. I sketch them, I design them, and I have a friend that makes them for me.
Wow. That's incredible, man. I love
Right,
it.
brain off. It's like nonstop. That's why I hate weekends because most people don't respond to their work emails. I hate Sundays and I hate Saturdays. Monday morning, I'm blowing people's email up 6 a.m. Like I text one of my radio reps, Lexi, this morning because I was like, "Hey, you making any phone calls today? How we looking on radio?"
Most people love Sundays and hate Mondays. Not for Jimmy. You wake up, you're like, it's Monday. Let's go.
As Monday represents opportunity, man.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not where you are in your career that you want to be, you need to love Mondays. You need to hate the weekends and love Mondays because that's when people are back to work. Man, there's times I call my manager Ash like 3 a.m. He's like, "Hello, dude, let me run this idea by you real quick." He's like, "What the?" Like I don't do that the whole hour thing. No, I try not to do that too much to him. But when I got an idea that's just burning in my head, I can't get it out because Monday takes forever when it's Saturday morning.
Yeah.
It's like 2 whole days, bro.
You're like waiting for Christmas.
I got it this morning. Like, let's go.
I love it. Let's do some quick draw questions and I'll let you go. I know you got other stuff to do today. Number one song that when it comes on, you automatically smile every time.
Good Life by One Republic.
Great song. Number two, if you could swap wardrobe with any celebrity all time, who would it be and why?
Elton John or Prince.
Great answer. Number three, what reality TV show do you think you'd be best at?
What reality TV show I think I'd be best at? Man, that's a good question. I don't watch that much reality TV.
Do you see yourself as more of like a Survivor kind of show, or would it be like Big Brother, where you're trying to do mind games with everybody to not get voted off, that kind of thing?
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Brother type thing. Or just straight up the Kardashians.
Right? Just to have the cameras around and just do life. Exactly. Last one, number four. You're just a fan for a second. Let's take away the job, the career. Things get back to semi-normal. You can go see a show. Who's the first one that you want to go see?
First person I'm going to see is Matchbox 20 and Montgomery Gentry.
That's interesting. Why? Why those two?
Matchbox is my favorite band of all time. Like I know every Matchbox song, and I'm actually friends with Rob Thomas now, which is cool.
Get out. That's awesome.
And Montgomery Gentry is my favorite country duo ever. Got to be good friends with T-Roy and Eddie. I actually was talking to Eddie yesterday. I just loved T-Roy's energy. I love Eddie's energy. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of their show, the energy they bring, because they do it with Matchbox and Montgomery Gentry do shows without relying on the lights, without relying on a jumbotron show. Nah, it's them dudes on stage with great songs, great energy, great crowd interaction. So many people just rely on the lights to do the show. They rely on the screen
spectacle.
Like I've been to some shows to where they'll go 6 songs and won't say nothing to the audience. I'm like, this ain't Spotify, bro.
Talk to me.
Or then I'll see some artists that have the same set, no matter the city. And you could tell when the crowd is going in and out. It's like, as entertainers, it's our job to find out what they want and give it to them. So my band, we have a set list, but it's merely a suggestion. We follow the first 3 songs, and after that, I can kind of feel what the crowd wants. If they want another up-tempo, we got one. Let's go. They want another down, they got one. They want a cover, they got it. And I know a lot of people say, well, we got the lights programmed, to this song and that song. Man, that's cool. But if somebody comes and see your show, in one city and see it again the next night, it's the same show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my whole camp knows. I tell my light guy, I don't give him a script. I said, be creative. He said, what you want me to do? I said, a cool ass light show. Right. So whatever you feel, go for it. What looks good to you?
I love it. That's great.
Do it. You know what I mean? That's me. Like even with my players, like we'll have a song, the recording, But I tell my players, you don't got to play the guitar solo just like they did on the record. Do what you want. I don't care. It's 8 bars. Have fun. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's our thing. And now that we have a key player, we could do transitions all the time. Or what we do is we put a transition before each song. So that way, no matter where we go, we hold the song at the end. The keyboard player does something, or that's what my perk of me being able just to talk to the audience. I'll just start talking to them, tell jokes, walk
Yeah.
around, tell a story. We'll start the song, go to it. That's kind of like what my show is. It's like a backyard barbecue where we sing songs.
I dig it, man. Really quick, you mentioned John earlier, and I'm in New Jersey, so I know what John means. But for someone who's anywhere outside of Delaware, Philadelphia, Jersey, they have no idea what it means. Will you explain what it is?
John?
Yep.
Oh, I said John?
You did earlier on. Yeah. You were talking about Randy House and you said something, not John. And I was like, I got to remember to bring that up because 90% of the country has no idea what that means.
So John is just like saying joint, or this joint right here, or this thing right here. It's just John. Yeah.
And it's JAWN. If you want to look it up, it can really mean anything, right? Like anything, really.
Heck, this John. I didn't even realize I
You
said.
did it. Jimmy, thank you so much, man. We're going to play Freedom Was a Highway. I dig it. I really dig the whole album as well. It's so good to chat with you. And I can't wait to see you in person again real soon, man.
Thank you. Everybody out there, man, keep chasing your dreams. Love yourself, man. Love everybody around you. Be good to people. Love is love.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to see you, man.